How did a picture destroy a billion-dollar empire? Anyone who remembers the Ed Hardy brand from the days of Paris Hilton, Juicy Couture, and MySpace will recognize the bold, the loud colors, intricate, tattoo-inspired designs, and an automatic association with a certain type of guy.
I gotta say, cheers to Ed Hardy for making it easier for us to be able to spot douchebags.
In its prime, the Ed Hardy brand was on literally everyone's back. Actors, rappers, pop stars, athletes, Disney stars, and more. Just 4 years prior to that statement by Ed Hardy, the brand had made more than $700 million in sale revenue. To put things in perspective, Chrome Hearts, Supreme, and Christian Louboutin are each estimated in their entirety to be worth around $1 billion today. So how does one go from selling that much to being almost non-existent today? What went wrong with Ed Hardy? Well, let's start by retracing its story, and it begins with Ed Hardy. The man, the artist. Don Ed Hardy is a tattoo artist originating from Newport, California. Born on the 5th of January 1945, he developed an immense love for tattoos at a young age. One of his friend's fathers had army tattoos, and it intrigued him so much that he took pens and colored pencils to draw on the other neighborhood kids. Hardy was lucky enough to have parents who supported his interest and encouraged him to follow his passion. Don't we all wish we had such parents? After graduating from high school, he attended the San Francisco Art Institute, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in printmaking. He was later offered a full scholarship for a Master of Fine Arts program at Yale, which he declined and instead pursued his interest in tattoos. After college, he went from city to city, learning everything he could from famous and prolific tattoo artists. One of his mentors showed Hardy a book of Japanese tattoos. This was the it moment for Hardy. He described it as being struck by lightning and decided that this was what he wanted to do. In his quest to learn more about Japanese tattoos, he met with a renowned tattoo artist named Sailor Jerry, who arranged for Hardy to study with Kazuo Oguri in 1973, making him the first Westerner to work with a traditional Japanese master. When Hardy returned from Japan a year later, he opened Realistic Tattoo in San Francisco, the first appointment-only shop devoted to custom designs. The Realistic shop is the reason tattoo shops today are more like art studios and galleries. His work prompted a New York Times article that questioned whether tattooing could be considered fine art, and slowly over the years, Ed Hardy became the legend that he is now. His fine art mentality helped elevate tattoos from a subculture to pop culture. In the early 2000s, Hardy decided to license his work in order to produce merch based on his artwork. It had more than 70 sub-licensees, selling anything from perfume, hairstyling tools, shoes, condoms, and of course, clothing. Even though these licenses bared his name and design, Hardy had little to do with the products themselves. If you look closely at Ed Hardy t-shirts, you'll notice that the clothing brand was called Ed Hardy by Christian Audigier. Christian Audigier was a French immigrant who, like many around the world, fantasized about the American dream. But unlike most, he was actually able to get a share of the American pie. His life looked straight out of a movie. Christian grew up in France, idolizing the likes of James Dean and the Rolling Stones. He dropped out of school at the age of 14 in order to help his mother provide for his family. Audigier began working in the fashion industry at the age of 15. He designed a line of denim that was inspired by his love for rock and roll. His designs became so popular that a top executive from McKean Jeans took notice of Audegier's talents, affording him the opportunity to create with the company and travel the world. He moved to America in 2000, where he worked for brands like Guess, American Eagles, Levi's, and Diesel. But his popularity would rise after his time at the once great Von Dutch, where he was able to get the brand back trending before he left in 2007. After his time at Von Dutch, Audigier approached Ed Hardy in 2007, promising him millions in return if he licensed his design for a clothing brand, which they both agreed. Don Ed Hardy has always been, and will always be, an artist. The Ed Hardy clothing and merch were a way to guarantee an income while he was focusing on his art. Neither he nor Christian Audigier could have foreseen the brand being this successful. Christian may have been a talented designer, depending on who you ask, but that is definitely not the field that made the Ed Hardy brand successful.
What the hell is even that?
His success came from his ability to sell. During his time at Von Dutch, Christian Audigier infiltrated the nightlife of Hollywood. From Britney Spears to Michael Jackson, he made valuable connections. He would literally walk onto celebrities in Los Angeles and ask them to wear his design and hat on the spot and take pictures. Later, he would pay them to wear his clothes and hire paparazzi to follow them around, and this is the same tactic he would use with the Ed Hardy brand. He went as far as paying Michael Jackson $1 million to come to spend 5 minutes at his birthday party and call him the best designer in the world.
God bless you, man. And in my opinion, not only are you a wonderful artist, you're a wonderful human being, and the king of fashion.
Yeah! The king of pop!
Madonna once said in the news, "Christian, without your clothes, I would be naked." Today, this behavior is very normal. We call it celebrity branding, but back in the day, it wasn't a thing yet. All this publicity paid off as the brand was now literally everywhere. But the thing that led the brand to prominence would also lead to its undoing, because appealing to everybody also means appealing to anybody. The finale for Ed Hardy came in 2009. Long before the Kardashians, Jon Gosselin, his wife Kate, and their 8 kids held the title of the most famous reality family. But by 2009, Gosselin walked out on his wife and kids after he was caught cheating, and Jon began frequently appearing out on the town, quickly becoming a paparazzi darling. In virtually every photograph, what was Jon wearing? Ed Hardy. Overnight, the brand went from being associated with some of the biggest stars in the world to being associated with Deadbeat, Jersey Shore, and basically anything tacky. Nightclubs started to ban the brand from their premises, and many stores like Macy's took it off their shelves. In addition to the Gosselin factor, Hardy blamed the brand's collapse on certain decisions made by Audigier. One of those decisions involved Audigier emblazoning his own name on much of the line's clothing, something as much as 14 times on a single shirt.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Christian worships celebrities so much, he will get next to anyone who is famous for anything. If he could have gotten Charles Manson in a shirt, he would have. By 2010, Ed Hardy's brand was in shambles. Stores were closed and assets were liquidated. In 2011, after many legal battles with Ed Hardy, Christian Audigier ended up selling Ed Hardy, who once was worth more than $1 billion, for only $62 million.
Hey, have you banned Jon Gosselin from ever wearing your clothes?
No, I hate that.
You hate him?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Don Ed Hardy is still well and alive. He still owns about 15% of the brands. He stopped tattooing in 2009. Christian Audigier, on the other hand, lost his life to cancer in 2015. Around 2017, the brand made somewhat of a comeback, but it was short-lived, and I think that this is a fair picture of what the future holds for the brand. Peeking in and out for the nostalgic effect, but I don't ever see it being the forefront of the hype. So what do you think? Is all publicity really good publicity? Well, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace!